Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Canada out-Trumping Trump. If you look at most headlines in the U.S. from yesterday, the general idea is that Doug Ford of Ontario hit the U.S. with a surcharge on electricity. Trump threatened to double the tariff on aluminum and steel, and Canada caved. I'm not so sure that's what happened. And I'm not just talking about the tens of billions in retaliatory tariffs Canada's expected to announce. I'm not sure the headlines got yesterday's events right. Why? Because I actually read the transcripts of what Ford said when implementing the surcharge. For months, Trump supporters have told us over and over again that he's really playing 4D chess by making outrageous tariff statements, simply as a negotiating tool to get leaders in other countries to do what he wants. I'm going to read parts of the exact same quotes from Ford I read in yesterday's video about this. In the process, you'll also find out why I use direct quotes rather than summarizing it for you. Quote, "We don't need to do this. We can have the two most prosperous countries in the world. We need to sit down as quickly as possible." Quote, "We just want to sit down and have a fair USMCA deal that he created. And he said it was the greatest deal ever. So I don't know why it's not the greatest deal ever now." Ford's demand was a sit-down. That sit-down is now scheduled for Thursday. According to reports, it will be in D.C. and include the U.S. Trade Representative and Commerce Secretary Lutnick. The presence of the trade representative is interesting, given some of the rumor mill stuff about Lutnick being designated as the person Trump will blame for the tariffs. But that's just a rumor. The Canadian side got what they wanted out of this. I know, one of the MAGA faithful is down there typing, saying, no, they caved after Trump said he'd put more tariffs. What if I told you the Canadians knew he was going to do that? Again, a Ford quote from yesterday's video. Well, President Trump has said many times he's going to put a tariff on. Then he pulls it off. Then he puts it back on. Once I touch the stove once and get burned, I'm not going to get burnt again. Canada didn't get burned again. They got their sit down. What's going to happen at the meeting? Ford is going to pitch an AMCAN fortress, just like he said. This is a lot like when American news outlets were telling you that Ukraine would fall in days or weeks when Russia invaded. They assumed Ukraine was going to fight in a specific manner, while Ukrainian leadership was flat out saying they weren't going to fight that way. Canada is probably not going to try to out-tariff Trump, which is what the headlines were implying. They're going to try to out-Trump Trump. I would also point out that Trump's increased tariff response was not the route I would have gone. Canada says they'll surcharge electricity, costing American consumers more and creating more demand for domestic production of electricity. Trump's response was to say he'd add tariffs to steel and aluminum. Ever seen an electric plant that didn't use those materials? Ford wanted a sit-down. That was the stated plan from the beginning. He got it. Now, will that plan bear fruit? I have no way of knowing. For all we know, Trump will cancel the scheduled meeting, but he might be open to talking now. The stock market isn't doing so hot over the last month. Trump's trade war is being blamed for about $4 trillion in lost value. Reminder, the U.S. Trade Representative says the trade deficit with Canada is about $65 billion. The market value lost is more than 60 years' worth of the trade deficit. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.